Hello everybody, it is me, Martinez-Bateman. I am the CEO of New Coyote Consulting. We are a management and communications consulting firm here in the Pacific Northwest. It is the weekly update. We took Monday off because it was Labor Day and just didn't think about work, spent time with friends, spent time outdoors, spent time doing shit I love. I've been obsessed with making journal covers. I made a new cover for my office journal, which is this thing. You can see, and it has a little rainbow charm on it. Very cute, very beautiful. It has these little corners. And then I had the leftover scrap leather. This is like the very end, which is why it's kind of a little bit of a weird shape. But this is the very end of the leather roll that I was working with, and it had scratches on it, so I covered it with star brackets and just filled it with some notebooks. This is from Multicultural Group, I'm sorry. Multicultural Collaborative here in Portland. Love them. Love Anita. But yeah, I've just been doing this. I've been doing this. It has been calming my nerves. It's just been something that I can work on that's like, this is a tangible thing that I can make with my hands. I can work with my hands. I can make sure, like, there's no one else here doing this, right? Like, so much of New Coyote's work is collaborative, and I love that, and I want that. I love being in partnership with community members. But when you are serving a community that is marginalized already, and then the prevailing leadership of the country that you live in is literally trying to disappear you and sometimes successfully doing it. I saw a report yesterday that 100,000 immigrants are missing from America, as in no one really knows where they are. Maybe they got deported, maybe they just left, maybe they are hiding, but 100,000 people are missing from a certain population that the administration has targeted. And there's a lot of our work that our work deals exclusively with confronting capitalism, confronting white supremacy, confronting colonization, and the legacy of colonization here in the Americas. And when that is what we do, the people who we do it with, and we ourselves, are going to be marginalized. That's just how it is. And so it can be really hard when every direction I look, we are all taking damage. We are all being harmed. And New Coyote is no exception. We have, I think, approximately 70% of our break-even money is due to us, but so far unpaid. We have a lot of partners who, due to their own marginalization and subjugation under this administration, are having cash flow issues, and that's giving us cash flow issues, and it's feeling very oppressive to me, which is the point, right? That's the point of oppression, is to feel oppressed. But it weighs on me heavily that everywhere I look, my community is hurting. I look at my family, I look at myself, I look at my friends, I look at my, work partners, my professional partners, my collaborators, my clients. Everyone is hurting, and that is doing its job. It is draining me. It is making it hard for me to feel like I can rise to this current moment. And as a result of that, I'm going to do what I have done in the past when the oppression gets really thick. And that is, I am going to find out where my privilege is, and I'm going to use it to leverage for people who don't have as much privilege as me. And I am going to resource myself as well, right? So in order to be flexible, in order to make the creative, intuitive leaps I need to make solutions in this time when there's a lot going on to try to distract us all, to try to make us all tired, to try and make us all easier to control and more predictable in our depression and in our ongoing grief, I am going to juke left, and I am going back to limiting my hours to 4 hours a day. I had sort of started to let it creep up to 6 hours a day and even more. To be honest, I stopped counting my hours because I kept going over what I felt was a healthy limit for me to work. And instead of addressing that backsliding into overwork, I stopped tracking. Happens to all of us. I just really wanted to feel like I was doing something, and spending long hours at the office, even if it wasn't actually getting us the impact that we needed, felt like an immediate solution that I could cling on to. And as usual, it wasn't. So here I am, very publicly recommitting to only working 4 hours a day. That is a part of my privilege as a business owner, as a person with resources, etc., etc. It's also a part of my needs as a person who is disabled, as a person who is still healing from a major surgery in June, and as a person who has a mental health journey that has been very hard going lately. A lot of personal things have happened. Everyone that you know is fine. Some people are not fine. I had a death in my long-term friend group last month, or in July, at the very end of July, and I've been processing a lot of grief over that. I've also had some changes in my care team, and that's been a little bit hard as well. So I'm working through that stuff, and as a part of working through that stuff, I'm going to limit my hours to 4 hours a day only. And that is so that when I have clients, when I have partners who are not able to take advantage of that privilege, who are not able to limit working in that way, I can be there with the resources that 4 hours a day of working have afforded me to support them. This is what we talk about when we say that you should use your privilege for good. If I have the privilege to only work 4 hours a day and still have a roof over my head and food to eat, that's what I'm going to do. And with the advantages that gets me, I'm going to feed that back into the community. I'm going to give that back into my clients. I'm going to give that back into my partnerships. Not everybody can do that. And that's why I'm doing it, because I can. Because I can, and because we need people with different levels of privilege, access, resources, etc. at every point. We are going to be experiencing further loss in our communities. It's going to be happening. And the people who have worked in loss, the people who have worked through loss, and the people who have managed loss as much as I have, and as much as all of us here in sort of like leftist, revolutionary, liberatory spaces, we are going to need to know what to do next. We are going to need to look at our experience, look at our knowledge, and have an understanding as to what advantages each new circumstance gives us, because there is never not an advantage somewhere. If we don't have federal funding, that means we don't have federal reporting to do. If we're not beholden to a landlord, that means that we can do other things with our time and our space, right? You cannot get blood from a stone. We can't get money from some of these situations, but we can get stone from a stone. And that has its own resource. That is its own value. And we should all be orienting around how to restructure what we really, really need. And that is one of the things that I'm doing by working 4 hours a day only, is restructuring and reorienting to the level of scarcity that we're currently experiencing and what we will experience going forward. Have a lunch, have a walk, have a weekend, do not work for free. I also have shirts now. This was an experiment. This was a thing I did in one of my many hours at the office where I was just trying to figure out what to do. I think this is a limited run. I gotta be honest, I didn't understand the shirt website. So check the link. Get a shirt if you want to. I don't know if I'm going to do this again. All right. Have a lunch, have a walk, have a weekend. Don't work for free. Goodbye.